Hey Poli Glow family, this is Len, one of the owners of Poli Glow. In our last video, we talked about how to apply the maintenance application of Poli Glow to maintain the shine and keep your boat or RV or a painted aluminum trailer looking beautiful and keeping that gloss that's boss. We talked about the Poli Glow coating chart and how important that is. As your reference, you can find that on our website under the How to Use tab. In our next video, we're going to talk about the removal and reapplication of Poli Glow. After 5 to 6 years, Poli Glow reaches the end of its life cycle. For 5 or 6 years, you're going to be applying 3 to 4 coats of Poli Glow. The layer is going to get awfully thick to prevent it from peeling because it too will oxidize over time. You just want to remove it, take it off, and get back down to that gel coat and reapply Poli Glow. And this is going to make your life easier. It's part of the Poli Glow program, and if you follow the program, it's going to make your work efforts less, your life easier. It's going to give you more time to spend with your family and friends doing the things that you love and deserve to do. So stay tuned. In this next video, we're going to talk about how to remove Poli Glow and the reapplication process. Welcome back, Poli Glow family. So now we're going to talk about the removal and reapplication process. Let me take you through a few scenarios as we speak on this last phase of the Poli Glow life cycle. And what you may find yourself is in a position where you've owned your boat or RV or painted aluminum trailer, you applied Poli Glow, you've been keeping up with it, maintaining it, and now after 5 to 6 years, it's time to take off Poli Glow. And I'm going to show you how to do that. But you may find yourself in a scenario where you put Poli Glow on, or maybe somebody else put Poli Glow on, and you bought it from them, and you are not sure how long it's been on, or it's been on for longer than 5 or 6 years, maybe going on 10, 12 years, and you've tried taking it off, and you say to yourself, I can't get this stuff off. It looks blotchy, it looks terrible. You know, what's going on here? If it's been on for a long time and it hasn't been maintained, likely what's happening is you're getting oxidation through the Poli Glow into the gel coat. If Poli Glow is not maintained and you don't continue to put UV inhibitors in place, the UV inhibitors that were in place are going to get burned out by absorbing the sun's rays over the years. So what happens is the underlying gel coat will get oxidized. And people say, I can't get your Poli Glow off. Well, it could be the gel coat that is damaged. I have talked to many customers who call me, send me pictures. There's no Poli Glow on their RV or boat, and it looks terrible. The gel coat is damaged. It's been out in the sun forever. It's blotchy and discolored, and it looks awful. So what do you do in that scenario? Well, if you're having trouble getting some residual Poli Glow off, because Poli Glow will absorb into the pores of the gel coat, you may need to resort to a little wet sanding, and that's fine. The gel coat in a boat is a little thicker, so you can be a little bit more aggressive, but remember, you don't want to rip the gel coat off down to the fiberglass. In RVs, the walls of the RVs, they're constructed with much thinner fiberglass sheets that have a very thin gel coat. So you want to be very careful about wet sanding that. I would start with an 800 grit sandpaper and move up to 1,000 and 1,200. If you're on a boat and you want to get a little bit more aggressive, you can drop down to 600 or 500 or 400 and try that. But the bottom line is you need to get the old damaged gel coat off. You need to get Poli Glow off. And sometimes you need to do a little wet sanding. And that's okay. The bottom line is you want to make it beautiful. But if you follow the Poli Glow program, you're going to have a gloss that's boss for many years, and it's going to be easy to take Poli Glow off. I'm going to show you how to do that right now. And all it involves is poly strips. Sometimes you may need to use polyox for those hard-to-reach areas. But I will tell you, especially in a painted aluminum situation like this, I don't need to take every single layer of Poli Glow off. If there's a little bit of Poli Glow left over on this, it's perfectly fine. You can go right over. It's going to blend right in. Similarly, in gel coat, when Poli Glow absorbs into the pores, you may have a little bit of residual Poli Glow that are in the pores. Test an area on your boat or RV with Poli Glow. See if it blends right in. If it does, you're good to go. Apply Poli Glow to the whole surface. So let me show you now. This is poly strip, 3 parts water, 1 part poly strip. Remember, poly strip is a concentrate. I'm going to use our white non-abrasive scrub pad. And what you're going to feel is the Poli Glow will start to loosen up, and some of the spray that's on there will actually start to look milky. That's how you know some of the Poli Glow is coming off. So the first thing you want to do is wet the surface with water. Then you're going to spray poly strip on there, and then you're going to start to work the scrub pad. Now, a couple tricks here. Don't wet too big of an area, because if you're working in too big of an area, parts will start to dry, and then you'll have to redo the process because the Poli Glow will just dry right back up, and it'll look terrible. So work in a smaller area, maybe 4x4 area. Work the Poli Glow. When you start to see the milky color appear, you know the Poli Glow is coming off. Rinse it right off, okay? If you're only working in one area and you want to preserve the Poli Glow beneath that, then you want to use the rag technique and mist the rag, because if you rinse poly strip off, and it'll damage paint. Like, for example, boats that have bottom paint, this can happen to. So you want to tape those areas out and protect the bottom paint so the bottom paint doesn't come off. Now, let's show you how this works here. I'm gonna mist this one area. Oh, and also I have a canoe here. It's a green canoe. The reason we bought it is because it's great for showing up on the camera. It's a great tool to have because you can really see the contrast. It's a little bit difficult on this painted aluminum structure. It's even difficult on white, but this green will really pop. I'm going to show you how to do it on this painted aluminum structure, but then I'm going to take you to the canoe, which has about 10 coats of Poli Glow on it. It's had it on there for the last year. It still looks like it's in great shape. I've, taken good care of it, but I'm just going to show you how easy it is to remove Poli Glow. And so you can do this with either poly strip. If you need polyox, use polyox. Likely you won't need to do that for this removal process. So here we go. And it's simple. I'm just going to wet this down. I'm going to spray some poly strip on here. Now, remember, I want to take off this painted aluminum, so I want to be careful as I get closer to the paint. I'm going to take off some of the superficial layers. If this was your boat or your RV, you can keep scrubbing because poly strip is not going to damage the gel coat. But you can see the milky color starting to come in. I can feel this is starting to dry already, so I want to rinse this off. You can see how it's turning milky. So let me rinse this off. And you can see the Poli Glow coming off. You see how milky that is. Okay, so that probably took half of it off. Maybe a little more. If this was a gel coat scenario, I'd be able to tell a little bit easier. I'm going to hit it one more time. It's a nice cool day today, so things aren't drying so quickly. You got to take that into account as well. So I could just tell there's still more Poli Glow in here. You can see the milky color. Okay, let's rinse. Now, I've tapped this, and I know that the poly strip wasn't going to damage this paint, but I'm still being very careful. You should do a test area on your painted aluminum or painted plastic. Anytime you have paint, you want to pre-test and make sure the strip is not going to damage your paint in an inconspicuous area. So this looks great. I'm really happy with this. I probably have taken off the majority of the coats. I would feel very comfortable in this scenario drying this up and reapplying Poli Glow. And what I'm going to do now is dry this. I'm going to take you over to the canoe. I'm going to show you how easy it is to take Poli Glow off, and then we'll see if we can get a shot of this to see if there's a difference between one panel to the next.